Metric is also now a solution we've also implemented to enable M-Pesa and financial inclusion to all, so no one will be left behind. While financial inclusion has the potential to lift people from poverty through savings and affordable credit, and more importantly, it ensures that individuals are able to identify, access, and leverage financial tools that help them save for the future, protect themselves from economic shocks, support their entrepreneurial goals, and otherwise contribute to their well-being. This should be a priority for the public sector, private sector, and NGOs alike. These examples all represent the breadth of opportunities that presents for partnerships across various sectors. Opportunities have the power to transform lives and ensure shared prosperity for all in line with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And I can tell you in the SDGs in Safaricom, it is a KPI that I have and all the teams within Safaricom. For every product that we produce or release to the market, it must be aligned to the SDG goals. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the gains made in adoption of digital and mobile payments over the years, over 80% of transactions today in Kenya are still cash. And this is a challenge to all the fintechs in the room. We need to figure out how to develop more relevant products and services to move Kenya to a cash-like society. It has been done in China. I think over the past 5 years, Alipay and WeChat Pay have actually basically eliminated cash in China. It is estimated by the year 2020, Sub-Saharan Africa will have over 525 million smartphones. As a digital telco, we see endless opportunities for businesses beyond our borders. We are currently reviewing some of our propositions to see whether we can take them beyond the Kenyan market. Some of these propositions are like Masoko, international money transfer, payments, and so on and so forth.
When what became M-Pesa was brought to the Central Bank of Kenya around 2005, it was little more than a class project. The consumer's problem and how it would be resolved was clear. However, over the next year and a half, the innovators collaborated closely with the regulator, committed to reducing the risks to the financial system and to the consumer. Once these risks had been addressed sufficiently, a test and learn approach was adopted when it was introduced in the market. And that is why M-Pesa has been such a success. Don't be in a rush for success, and please take time to do things right. It is a marathon. Follow the advice of Eliud Kipchoge, the greatest marathon runner of all time. To win is actually not important. To be successful is not even important, he says. How you plan and prepare is critical and crucial. When you plan very well, then success can come on your way.
Good morning. Welcome to Metropole Business. I'm laughing. I'm laughing. Not because I should laugh when we're starting the show, but I'm laughing because a lot of things happen just before we go on air, where we are scrutinizing the economy and asking ourselves, what are we waking up to this morning? Now, there's a man seeking to have Luo made the official language of the Republic of Kenya. Okay, that's a good thing or not a good thing, depending. So this morning I'm asking the question, how many people in Kenya know Luo? Well, there's a man by the name Sami Wada, Ogot. Ogot. Is it Ogot? 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 Ogot. Isn't it? He wants chapter 2 of the Constitution amended, which says, know what chapter 2 says? The national language is Kiswahili and the official language is English. And it also actually prohibits people from using any other language other than Kiswahili and English in national places like national offices and governments. Now, so he argues that Luo language, being the foundation of universal knowledge, should be recognized by being elevated to an official status. Wow. Okay. So now if we were supposed to learn Luo this morning, the farthest I would go is Oyare Uru. That means good morning. Oyare Uru. Yeah, I know that. I know that. So if you don't know, probably this guy should be telling us exactly where we're supposed to be having our, what is it called? Our Luo lessons from. Anyway, good morning. No, I don't recognize that. I know Swahili. Habari ya asubuhi. Karibu kwa biashara ya asubuhi. Business I am. Good. I mean, that's the way you're supposed to say it, right? Or you just go English, good morning, this is Business AM. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. Anyway, I hope your weekend was good. Good thing is, this week, we might not be seeing Stephanie Waswa to the end of the week. And I'll be calling her shortly to ask her who's going to take over and what's going to happen when she's not around. Anyway, I saw Joy in TX. Good morning. I know our GMD Sam Amukoko is watching. Good morning. Stephanie has a problem with the way I say the name. It is Sam Omukoko, isn't it? That's the way it is. Anyway, our General Manager Terian, good morning. I know you're watching. And our head of broadcast here at Metropole Television, Yikonyo Masharia, good morning. Anyway, a lot has happened over the weekend that we're going to get into this morning. Now, we do know that Kiambu Governor, that is Ferdinand Waititu, we had spoken about how EACC was challenging the anticipatory bail that was awarded to him by one Judge Kahemba. Now, Kahemba, that is it. Is it Kahemba? Kahemba. Good. Stephanie is coming to correct me, I know. But good. Now, we do know that the High Court, must have given EACC the go-ahead to get done away with the anticipatory bail that Ferdinand Waititu was riding on, and now, as of the weekend, that is on Saturday, it was being looked for, and we do know that the sections of members of the Republic that are telling him, look, Waititu, you need to resign. That's exactly some of the stories that we're looking into. Now, Ian, if you're ready with our big screen, you can reflect our first story that we're looking at this morning. Now, Parliament has revised the budget for the year starting July to include 1 billion shillings allocation for hiring interns who will be paid 25,000 shillings monthly. Now, if you want to know where this story comes from, you have to go all the way back to 10th of July. No, actually 10th of June. This was a proposal back then. Now, Assembly Budget and Appropriation Committee, that is the PSC, wants the Public Service Commission, that is the PSC, wow, it's money, to hire the interns from every constituency. Now, this opens the door for thousands of fresh graduates to gain experience and earn upkeep in a country where the unemployment rate stands at 40%. If you want to translate that to numbers, then you're going to have 7 million. Now, State Set is set to recruit interns on a monthly pay of 25,000 shillings. Now, Commission Chairman Stephen Kirogo, told the National Assembly Committee on National Cohesion that the PSC is drafting a policy to guide the recruitment. Now, the PSC is set to hire 3,000 interns who are expected to be posted to various stations by mid-September. Quote, we start the recruitment in August and qualified individuals will be required to apply directly to the Commission. Now, Mr. Kirogo said Parliament revised the PSC budget for the year starting July to include 1 billion shillings allocation to facilitate the hiring of the interns. If you look at it, this is going to be an opportunity for thousands of fresh graduates, therefore, to gain experience and earn in a country where unemployment rate starts at 40%. And just as I said, if you want to translate this into numbers, then you're going to stand at 7 million unemployment rate. Now, fresh graduates are generally viewed as lacking a specialized market skills and experience to perform tasks, reducing their chances of getting direct employment after studies. Now, employers in Kenya have complained of poor quality graduates who do not meet the needs of the job market, prompting them to spend millions of shillings on the job training. Now, the question that we're asking this morning is that this, from anywhere you stand, is a good proposal. Yes. But question remains, what happens therefore after the 3 months? Because yes, you're going to pay them 25,000 shillings. And has the question really been that some of the graduates lack the necessary skills that are supposed to take them into the job market? If that is what employers are talking about, should be the question go back to, look, let's talk about our education system, because 3 months, employers again will argue, is not enough, therefore, to impact the students who spend what? 3-4 years in school just to get these necessary skills that employers are asking for. So when you give them an internship of 3 months and then pay them 25,000 shillings, what happens after the 3 months have expired? We're not saying it's a bad proposal. No. We are asking the question, how viable is this proposal if you're talking about employers complaining about lack of skills? Is 3 months enough? And what happens after the 3 months? Next thing that is happening in the economy this morning is that the government has now made a U-turn on the succession race of Safaricom, saying it will work with whoever the telco's board chooses to replace the late Bob Kalimo. Now, the move is a departure from Kenya's official position in the past that he should be succeeded by a local, a development that led to a delayed announcement of his replacement, according to a Reuters report of at that time. Now, quote, the Safaricom board will decide who they will have as the new CEO. There is no say from the government who becomes a CEO once Safaricom decides they will carry on with that person. Now, ICT Secretary John Musheru said last week. Now, Safaricom, which is Kenya's most profitable company, is seeking a successor to Mr. Kolimo, who, as we all know, passed away this month after struggling with cancer. Now, he agreed to stay on for additional year to August 2020 in what was seen as a move to allow the government and Vodafone to negotiate an agreement. Now, former CEO Michael Joseph is holding as a position under acting capacity. It's a good move now. We do all know that just a few months ago, it was clear, or it was in public domain, of exactly what the government wanted. Now, the government has been quoted saying that whoever was supposed to succeed Bob Kolimo, that is after 2020, or after his tenure, that is a 1-year extension that he got from Safaricom, was supposed to be a local. A lot of arguments have gone there, with reports from Reuters saying that there is already a tussle on who was supposed to take over that seat. Now, Sheru is coming out clear to say, look, this is settled in this way. Whoever Safaricom choose to take that seat after Bob Collymore, we are going to support them and we are going to work with them. He continued that my wish is that Kenya gets a person who doesn't control the business. We have appointed directors to run the business. It doesn't mean that what the government wants is what it gets. Now, the CS said early this month. Now, following Mr. Collimore's death, the board said it would give a way forward in under 24 hours. Now, the delayed announcement of a new Safaricom chief is now headed to a month. Good. This is a story that we shall be following now. And everybody has actually been watching Safaricom on exactly who takes over after Bob Collymore. Whether this is pertinent to the performance of Safaricom is still a matter that is neither here nor there, because we do know that Michael Joseph, yes, is the man who's in acting position. But who takes over now is clear that the government is not going to meddle with the business of Safaricom, because ICT Secretary John Michel said, look, we will work with whoever or whomever Safaricom choose to take that seat. Now, another story that we're looking at this morning. The government has designated 9,000 acres of land in Naivasha, Mombasa and Machakos as special economic zones as it steps up efforts to boost manufacturing. Trade and Industrialization Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya gazetted the zone Friday, meaning they enjoy special tax and infrastructure that facilitate a wide range of activities such as storage, export and re-export. Now, the Cabinet Secretary for Industry, Trade and Cooperation, on recommendation of Special Economic Zones Authority, declares all that land being the Special Economic Zone under number 8396/56, measuring about 404.7 hectares. That's about 1,000 acres in the Mahimayu area, which Nakuru County is to be a special economic zone. Now, these are remarks from Mr. Munya. Now, the two parcels of land include the 2,023 hectares, that's around 5,000 hectares, in Malili Ranch that hosts Kenya Konza City on Mombasa Road, Machakos County, and the 1,214.06 hectares, that's around 3,000 hectares parcel of land in Congo. That is the Kundu area in Mombasa County. Now, local foreign investors have been seeking licenses to put up 100 special economic zones across the county, according to the Industrialization Ministry, which is good, because as you want to spur now the development of these regions, then you have to give incentives to the business persons within the country and also the foreign investors who want to come in and also work under the plan for developing Konza City and all that. Yes, it's a good move. And if you've been watching Metropole Television, we do have the engineer for Konza City saying that the plans are underway. So this is exactly what it is that the government is trying to do to hasten the process of making this a reality. Now, for beer drinkers, you've realized that after the 2019-2020 budget that was tabled by CS will teach, yes, your prices of beer have been on a steady rise. Now, beer makers and spirit manufacturers have opened talks with bar owners to stick to recommended prices to lift sales and cushion the business from effects of higher taxes. Now, the manufacturers, through their lobby, Alcohol Beverages Association of Kenya, say higher alcohol prices could hurt sales. Locally, brewed beer prices were this month adjusted upward, that is by 10 shillings due to tax increases, with the recommended retail price of Tusker larger, said to be at 160 shillings. But some bars raised prices above the recommended rates, raising fears that the higher prices could dim sales. Now, if retailers really want to grow their business, they have to offer value to consumers. Otherwise, buyers would take their money elsewhere, meaning that in addition to lost sales, goodwill across other categories will also be lost. Now, ABAC chairman Gordon Mutugi was quoted saying, he continued that despite the world's spelled out prices, it's not uncommon to buy a bottle of beer, say at 140 shillings in one part of the town, and find the same beer going for 500 shillings in another location. Now, Abak says a study commissioned last year showed that increasing price of legitimate alcohol pushes drinkers to illicit brews. Good. So if you've been drinking this weekend, you do know that the beer is supposed to retail at exactly 160 shillings. Now, for some bars across the country or some entertainment spots across the country, they've been selling it for upwards of 200, 220, others 500 shillings. All right, Richie, do you take beer? You don't take beer. Cindy, do you take beer? Patan, do you take beer? How much do you buy this weekend, man? 250, isn't it? Now, you see, that's exactly what they're talking about. That we do know that the government will always come to... Somebody's just saying, what does it have? Oh, it makes you feel good. Anyway, so now, I'm saying, like, if you don't standardize the prices of these commodities that you're pushing to your customers, then they'll be running away from you because you're supposed to buy it at exactly 160 shillings, whichever place you are. Even if you find yourself a Villa Rosa or whatever place, then you're supposed to get it at just 160 shillings. Why? Why? I mean, they make it and they standardize the prices. Why would you have it marked up by more than 190 shillings in some sports? It's like soda. Sometimes you can actually buy soda for 200 shillings, depending on where you are. Do they remake the soda? And the bottle is just the same, isn't it? But they serve it in a glass, probably. No, but maybe a glass. No, how much does a glass cost? 150 shillings? After that, you're supposed to go with a glass home. Anyway, those are some of the stories that we're looking at this morning. I do know that Stephanie Wankwa is ready in the studio to come shortly and take us to the road. Some of the stories that we're looking at this morning is the arrest of Ferdinand Waititu, yes, and there are sections of parliament now that are calling for his stepping down. Whether he does that or whether he doesn't do that still remains a question that we are watching closely this morning. Good. Other stories that we shall be following this morning include now this story about interns who are supposed to get paid 25,000 shillings a month. That's a good thing because I do know some of us did unpaid internships. Think about that. It wasn't paid. Now, for 25,000 shillings, that's a good move from the government. But the question that we're asking this morning is if employers are saying that some of these graduates don't have the necessary skills that are supposed to push them into the job market, is paying them for just 3 months going to impact the skills that we are talking about? Or should we be thinking about the general education structure that we have in Kenya? All right, I will be joined this morning by two gentlemen who are going to help us discuss these issues further. Anyway, Stephanie Waswa is in the studio. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning,
When are you
Simba.
going on leave?
On Thursday.
Yeah, we won't miss you.
I know you will.
Nah, we won't miss you. Ask around. Yo, Richie, are you going to miss Stephanie when she goes on leave? Yeah, they've said no.
Yeah, you know they'll miss you.
Nobody is going to miss you.
You know, they actually expected for me not to be here today.
Who? Them?
Yeah,
That's how fast they want you to go.
No.
Yeah, okay,
Simba,
what does
you
it mean when people think that you're leaving earlier, but they get surprised that you're there?
They
that
prepared
day?
themselves psychologically not to
For
expect
you?
stuff.
No, but
But
the other side of the coin?
no, there's no other side
They
of the coin.
wish
Just
that
to
you
one
really-
side.
No, a coin has two sides, Stephanie. Think about
My
it.
coin has one.
One side. I think you need to be arrested by the Central Bank of Kenya. I think you have.
Not that coin, my
I think
coin.
you have vague coins.
You know, I
The other
don't.
side of the coin is that they want you to go that
no,
fast.
No. Simba. No. Anyway, speaking about the internship,
Yeah.
the one we did for free,
Yeah.
I actually paid the company for me to be there.
Think about it. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
do you think that some of these companies also sometimes take advantage
They
of
do.
the fact that they can make an extra coin from
They
anybody who's
do.
coming?
They
But
actually
do
do.
you think they have a point? Because if employers are saying, look, some of the graduates we get from university don't have the necessary skills
True.
that are needed to come into the job market.
True.
But I would like to think that when you go for internship, this company is going to train you, so you gotta pay for
Yeah,
that.
but what's the difference between attachment and internship?
Attachment
question.
is this one I know.
Okay.
In dictionary definition.
Okay.
And I want to define it in Swahili.
All right.
No, or Luo, like this guy who got
Yeah.
once. It goes like this. Internship is when you're still in school.
Yes.
Like,
No?
yes.
Okay, fine. Continue.
It's going to be marked as part of your coursework.
Okay.
So you go in and then get trained on some aspects of your practical work that you're supposed to. I would like to say it's work experience. Okay? Now that you've learned, at this semester, I would like to show you what we've learned last semester, how it works. So you come in and then get assignments and do all that, and then you go back to school and then probably do a report and say, I went through this. But attachment is not necessarily for somebody who's in school. There's somebody who's done internship and is waiting to get into the job market. So just before you get into the job market, you get attached somewhere, isn't it? As you get. No,
I think it's the
Richie.
opposite.
Nah.
I think it's the opposite.
No, I think I know what I'm saying.
Attachment when you're still in school, internship after you're done.
No.
Yes.
No. Guys, what are you defining it from? No.
You can ask Cindy, you can ask Sharon.
No. Attachment and internship. They're like night and day. Internship is when you're in school.
Yes.
Internship
No.
is when you're in school.
No, after.
Guys, so what if I get the right definition and then come back? You guys are going to buy me breakfast. That's fine. I hear you, Cindy, say yeah. And if you don't buy that breakfast, we are not betting. We're just saying I'm right. Okay. Definition after this, and I'm going to check it right now as Stephanie takes us to the roads. I'm carrying my phone, so we check it. And then after that, I'm going to announce who the winner is. It's got to be me. Guys, you're wrong. All right. Anyway, Stephanie, let's go.
Yes,
Let's go. Yeah, I saw an accident this morning, though.
You did?
Yo, you saw that? Yvonne, I'm looking at you. Did you see? Did you see the accident this morning? We came with Yvonne.
Okay.
You saw it along Mombasa Road, right? Yeah. Ian also saw it. I don't know whether he was sleeping or you saw it, isn't it? Ian, did you see the accident? Yeah, okay. No, that's a lie. Where was it? No, it wasn't a Capital Center. Bro, it was just after Bellevue. It was at Bellevue. No, Capital Center is not at Bellevue. It's at South Sea.
No, Capital Center is around that area.
No, Capital Center is not at Bellevue. It's at South Sea.
No. There's a
Capital Center. When you say where is Capital Center, it is at South Sea, along Mombasa Road.
It's just across Bellevue. If you from Capital Center, you can cross and walk to Bellevue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's no. Check your Google Maps. Where's Capital Center? Can we look for
Mombasa
it there?
Road.
Yo, Ian, you gotta get your facts right. I like to think you're a commuter, so you know these areas. Well, can I announce Ian, we live in the same estate, and you don't know where I stay. That's what I like to think, that you don't know where Capital Center is. Yeah,
Well,
Ian doesn't know where I stay. I know where you stay, and we don't even live together.
You don't.
I know where you stay.
Imagine you don't. Can you go by yourself?
Yes.
Oh, please.
Viraj.
You don't.
And then I'm there.
You don't imagine.
Anyway, Stephanie, take us to Mombasa
Yes,
Road. Are we looking at Mombasa Road?
Where is it? It's here.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
here. The Bellevue Estate is actually clear.
It's
So
actually
probably,
clear.
yeah, they've cleared
so,
up there.
So do you see Capital Center there?
Where is it? Can I zoom in? We
Yeah,
look for Capital
please do.
Center.
Where is it?
Wait, give me time. Highway is here. Highway is here. Highway is here. So it's here.
No, it should be there. That's a big...
There. It is.
What is that?
There. Where's there?
Is that Capital Center?
Capital Center?
Is it at Bellevue? But South Sea
Where's
is right
Bellevue?
there as well. Do you see where Bellevue is and South Sea is right there?
Bellevue is here.
No.
Big Square Bellevue.
Okay,
So that's
Stephanie,
quite far.
go to South Sea. Go to South Sea.
Where's
Where's
South
South
Sea?
Sea?
Where's South Sea?
I can see it just there, just right there. No, don't do anything like that.
Oh, here.
Okay, which
But-
one is closer? Is it Bellevue or is it South Sea?
Whatever, Simba, whatever.
See, I'm right. Guys, that's the first thing. I'm right.
Anyway, it's fine. It's
All right.
fine. Can you
all
just
right. So,
leave it?
how do you feel to be on the losing end?
I'm not
this
lost.
morning
I'm not
to Simba?
lost. I'm not lost.
You can't say Capital Center is in
But
Bellevue.
if you stand on Capital Center, you can see Bellevue. So it's
Regardless, you can't say Nairobi is in Ngara.
Simba. Let me just continue.
All right.
So, Ngong'ad, there's
all
a
right.
bit of
Let's
traffic.
just continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is actually the last week of the month
Uh-huh.
of July.
So you expect the people
Yeah.
get a couple shillings in the pocket?
You know,
Yeah.
some people are driving.
Yeah.
A lot of people are driving.
Yeah.
So Ngong'ad is actually looking quite hectic today.
Yeah.
Bagadhi Way is not that bad. And actually schools are closing. So that may be another factor.
So your brother's coming
For
back
traffic
home.
today, yes, my brother's back home.
All right.
That may be another factor for today for traffic. And then Langata
Oh, they're
Road.
closing today.
No, they closed yesterday for Sunshine. They closed yesterday.
Ah,
Some
okay.
schools, yeah, probably this week they're clearing. Yes.
Okay.
So Langata Road, there's a bit of traffic around that area. Southern Bypass very clear. Imara Daima, there's a bit of traffic, not as much. Then you go to Bellevue Estate. It's very clear. So near Stadium, clear. Then you go to Wayaki Way. There we go. There.
All right.
There's actually a lot of traffic. Wow.
Oof,
Wow.
not so good.
Yes. Actually from CA. Yes. No, actually from Waterfront Gardens Estate. Then you go
All
to
the
CA.
way to CA.
Then you go to Nairobi School. Then you go to Kari. Then you get, this is the ABC roundabout
Yeah.
junction. James Gishuru. Not so bad, but yeah. But once you get to Wayaki Way, on your way to Parklands Baptist Church, Safaricom, Villa Rosa, National Museum, it's clear.
Yes.
You get to University of Nairobi, that's where you get a bit of traffic getting into the CBD. Then you go to Thika Road, here we go. Thika Road, yeah, traffic starting from Garden City Mall, all the way to Allsops. We're going drive-in, Survey, Pangani, yeah, then it clears up at Moranga. Then, yeah, Globe is a bit hectic, but
It's
not
a bit
as
hectic,
much. Yeah,
but
not
it'll
as much.
get, it'll
Yeah,
get worse,
yes,
I know.
It
If
will
we
get
try
worse.
to come back to it and then...
Yes, it will get worse. Then we go to social media, we see what we have for today. There we go. Yes. There.
What time is it?
It is 7.
7, isn't it?
It is 7.
Is it 7?
It is 7.
Okay.
So, yes, there we go. A very good morning to everyone above ground pedestrian and motorists who can drive safely, remember?
That's true. Isn't
Alive,
it?
yes. For the very first time, Ngong Road is traffic-free on Monday from Kenol petrol station towards town to Mezikwenda, Teke so far so good. But that was 7 minutes ago. So
Tumezikwenda means...
What is to?
When you say tumezikwenda, what does it mean?
Tulienda tu. We just went. Tumezikwenda. Tulienda. There's nothing. It's just tulienda. Tulienda.
All right. That's why we need to introduce Luo as the official language.
No, so how do you even start?
Because I don't think people understand Swahili. What is that guy saying?
No, it makes sense.
Tumezikwenda.
Sino tumezikwenda.
We went them in... That's the definition. That
No,
when you want
not.
to translate it to... Okay, how do you translate that to English?
Direct translation.
No, but...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we went. Oh, tumezikwenda Teke. We went quite fast.
How would you say teke is fast?
Yeah, Teke is fast.
Fast?
Fast.
Tumezikwenda, meaning we moved on fast. All right.
There.
Somebody's saying kick. I don't think that's how you're supposed to say it.
Kiambu
All right.
Road into Thika Road is bumper to bumper but moving.
Yes.
Yes, we've seen that. This is a video. Sema Jam Mombasa Road all the way to GM. Aki yao.
Akiyao.
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 I think that's Kamba.
Yeah, Westlands roundabout.
What is the meaning of that?
Akiyao. Akiyao.
Oh, no, that's not Akiangai. It's different.
Akiyao.
Ah, okay. It's Richie Akamba. How does he know?
He's not.
He's not.
So
No.
we decided it's Kamba. Probably it's not Kamba.
Richie's telling me the girlfriend is Kamba. And I almost was tempted to tell him the only people we consider on the show are wives. Girlfriends can walk out anytime, right?
They can, but
You can.
but anyway, Simba,
They can, isn't it?
please.
You can't actually stand in front of people and say, my girlfriend told me.
No, you can.
Why?
Why not?
You can't do that.
We start from girlfriends to wives.
No, but
you
that's
see.
what I'm saying. That's what the play.
So you're supposed to keep it a secret because it's not a short.
A girlfriend has no position in society.
Simba, it's the reason why you're single. It's the reason why you're single.
Stephanie,
No.
does a girlfriend have a position in society?
Yes.
It's either your mom, you're a wife,
But we start
your
from-
grandmother.
Where do
you're
we?
an-
But
you're
where
an
do you start?
auntie.
Where do you start?
You
You can't start being a wife.
That's what I'm saying. You don't introduce people to your girlfriend. You introduce people to your wife.
Simba can't tell you
It's
this.
African. It's African.
Imagine
It
it's
is
not-
African.
So when you're taking your wife to your parents, This-
That's
the
why
country.
you take her very fast and then graduate very fast before you start introducing her to other people.
imagine Simba.
That's the way.
Imagine Simba.
That's the way.
I
supposed
can't do this.
Right?
No.
So have you ever seen any business person say, "Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to my girlfriend"?
Because they've already made it, as in they're already married.
No, but that's what I'm saying. A girlfriend has no position in society. They don't.
Imagine.
You better graduate very fast. We take a short break. Once we come back, we're going to look at agro commodities.
It's agriculture that supplies food for the masses as well as raw material for agro-based industries. But what does it really take to grow the crops or rear those animals? And how do you ensure produce becomes profit? Journey with me, Fred Makori, on my farm visits.
And this is the Farm Journal.
And my colleague Victoria Amunga
Kwa kilo nausaga 200.
as she brings to you the market opportunities. And together we take you through the journey of farming for profit.
Businessmen are doers. Businessmen, they're also thinkers. Businessmen are innovators. How did you come up with this idea? How did you decide to give back to it? And where is the need? Where's the gap?
It was a natural gravitation.
So the doers, the thinkers, and the innovators all catch up on the Entrepreneurs Lounge with me, Ingrid Nantege, every Monday at 7:30 p.m. only on Metropole TV.
Welcome back to Metropole Television. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning, Sam.
Everything is good?
Everything is well.
All right. What do you expect are going to be the prices for maize? Are we expecting them to change?
Probably, hopefully.
Probably,
Yes.
hopefully, isn't it? All right. Hopefully, we're also looking at pineapples markets, isn't it?
Yeah.
To see whether it's already at 650 and 1170. That is precisely in Nakuru and
And
Eldoret,
Eldoret,
isn't it?
yes.
That's exactly where we're going for. All right. So let's take a look at the agro commodity prices this morning.
Stephen Wema, George Bodo.
Markets Today has an extensive network of experts as well as decision makers in the economy.
We are ourselves a team of experts, but we will be embodying additional expert opinions, opinion shapers, business leaders.
Partner with us daily, morning and evening, so that we can tell you what to look ahead and what to be focusing on for the day.
We want to deliver this, and we will deliver this in a very precise, simple and concise manner.
Opening and closing bell at Metropole's Markets Today.
Entrepreneurs Lounge is a show that highlights success stories of young entrepreneurs under the age of 40. Entrepreneurs Lounge with me, Ingrid Nantege, Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
From street to street. Tunaangazia biashara kadha wa kadha ambazo ukiwa na as little as 5,000 shillings unaweza anzisha biashara yako na igrow. And from these businesses, you can get an idea or two on how to boost your business. Haya basi, ishakuwa kipindi ni The Hustle na mi ni Tabitha Muthoni ndani ya Metropole TV.
Why is it important to start your business fit? Because business is demanding. Your body needs to be ready. Successful business persons always seek to help us before the money. So join me, Douglas Karanja, on Shape Up. Every day at 6 a.m. on Metropole TV.
Businessmen are doers. Businessmen, they're also thinkers. Businessmen are innovators. How did you come up with this idea? How did you decide to give birth to it? And where is the need? Where's the gap?
It was a natural gravitation.
So the doers, the thinkers, and the innovators all catch up on the Entrepreneurs Lounge with me, Ingrid Nantege, every Monday at 7:30 p.m. only on Metropole TV.
It's agriculture that supplies food for the masses as well as raw material for agro-based industries. But what does it really take to grow the crops or rear those animals? And how do you ensure produce becomes profit? Journey with me, Fred Makori, on my farm visits.
And this is the Farm Journal.
And my colleague Victoria Amunga,
Kwa kilo nausaga 200.
as she brings to you the market opportunities. And together we take you through the journey of farming for profit.
Good morning. Welcome back to Business M. This morning, we are telling you exactly what is going on in the economy as we speak this morning. Good. Hope your weekend was fine. So if you were sleeping, then there are a lot of things that have happened. Now, Kiambu County, as we know of it, this morning, their governor is already facing charges of corruption and office abuse. It has been coming. This is not the first time he's getting arrested. Some time ago, he was arrested by EFCC, but he was given an anticipatory bail by one Kiambu County judge. Good. EFCC said they were going to contest that. Apparently, they were given a green light. He's facing charges. That not be the only thing. We're going to get into that shortly. But this morning, I'm joined by Ambrose in Washington this morning as we talk about some of the other issues that are running within the economy. All right. Now, the PNC already has a 1 billion budget that is supposed to use to recruit interns across the country from different counties that are supposed to earn 25,000 shillings a month for 3 months as they look to fill in the gap of employers complaining that some of the graduates from university and colleges don't have the relevant experience or, and quote, skills to get into the job market. Ambrose, that the government is looking to solve this, therefore, the skills question by saying, let's employ interns for 3 months and pay them 25,000 shillings. Let's just start from that point. Is it enough to give somebody skills that are required for a job he studied for 4 years in just 3 months? Because that's the way the government is looking at it.
I think I would not want to begrudge the interns.
Yes.
The opportunity that they're going to get
yes.
to earn money and also acquire some skills, because learning is a continuous process. You never stop learning. The only thing I would be of interest to me is that nearly all the programs,
yes.
especially in both our public and private institutions of learning, is that there is always an opportunity for somebody to go for an attachment,
yes.
industrial attachment. So what happens when they go for attachment? Is it that the employers, when these people go for attachment, they have realized that they are not up to the task, which again now will be a serious indictment to our education system.
Yes.
Number two, once these people earn the skills, as the government wants to put it, where do they go after 3 months? Are they assured of permanent employment, or where do they go? Or are they going to acquire skills that then will enable them to transition into business? So that to me is a bigger question.
Yes. Washington, me and you will look at the headlines and say that is 1 billion shillings. Good. Should we celebrate that yes, now interns are going to get opportunities? Or should we ask the question, if you're looking to solve an issue called skill, after 4 years of this student being in school, shouldn't you address the education system just like Ambrose is saying this morning? Or should we just look at it and say, well, 25,000 for 3 months, that's 75,000. They've helped somebody somewhere get some money into their pocket. Because at the end of the day, you like to think 3 months is just good enough to give somebody the skills they need for this job that they want.
True. And just like you said, just like Ambrose said,
yes.
At the end of the day, after 3 months, what really do you have like a real skill to actually go get employed, so to
yes.
speak?
Yes.
Is it something that you can quote and say, I had an internship at a certain place, and how long was the internship? For 3 months.
3 months.
So for 3 months, is it enough for an employer to get satisfied that actually you have the skills,
yes.
You have the experience needed
yes.
to get a job? And you see, at the end of the day, well, we can laud the government for doing that, for providing internship, because internship is one of the requirements actually when you're in college. Just before you graduate, you need to go for internship someplace, you know, for about 3 months. Well, the government is, well, it's playing its part in doing that, right?
Yeah.
But the bigger question here is this. The government should be providing an enabling environment for the private sector to be able to thrive, for the private sector to thrive, to be able to create employment opportunities for these same interns that it's helping get internship, right? That, well, let the government do both. They did not do one, because you see, if the government does one, you have these graduates, they've gone for the 3 months. After that, where are they going to go to? If the private sector can't absorb the same, won't it lead to more frustrations, so to speak?
Yes.
Because what we need at the end of the day is employment of our youth.
Employment for the youth, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Ambrose, look, me and you know, again, that in the 2018-2019 economic forecast, now the government is telling us, look, we did quote a tremendous job, and I'm quoting Wotich when he said, we were able to create 840,000 jobs within the economy. But let's just put that therefore against the statistics of where we stand again, the same statistics that come from the government. They're telling us, as of now, we have an employment rate in the percentage of 40. If you look at the numbers, therefore, it gets even worse. 7 million. Should the government even say, yes, we are fighting unemployment in the country, or should they say, this is a problem now? Because at the end of the day, that's exactly what we're looking at. And I want you to answer me from this perspective, Ambrose. The employers are not saying we have so many positions unfilled. No. They are saying these people don't have the skill set. So in which direction should we be driving really? Are we wasting 1 billion shillings, which at the end of 3 months or the financial year, it will be like, so what now for those who got internships?
I think number one, the 1 billion is not wasted.
Is it not wasted, Ambrose, when you look at it from that perspective?
If you look at how the money that is being plundered right now, I would rather give it to the students, even if they didn't go for internship, they stayed home.
That's another side of the coin. But when you look at this side of the coin, Ambrose, let's not look at this politician we're going to talk about next who steals billions. I'm talking about this 1 billion. For this student who's going to get 75,000 shillings after 3 months, but then immediately after the internship is over, you're still going to go back home and sit.
Yes. Again, it is a serious indictment to our political ruling class that they have plundered this country so much that we are now sitting on a powder keg. Because this situation can explode anytime. And if you looked world over, the Arab Spring and the uprisings that have happened of late, they have been because of tough economic times. So I want to appeal to the government and whoever is in charge of this economy to really do something about it. Just also to say something on the internship, I hope that when they go for internship, they're actually going to learn real skills. They're not going to make tea, photocopy documents, and run errands for 3 months. And then when you come back, you say that you went for internship.
Washington, just before we cross over into the main issue this morning, you think we should have looked at it in a different way? Say, don't use 1 billion, which from where I stand looks like another money that is spent that is not going to realize much in the economy, or invest more in opening places within the economy where these young minds are going to go to.
No, you're very right. I mean, let me tell you, you see, the government is giving the interns 25,000 shillings. I know there's a county that gives the interns 15,000 shillings for internship, right? So the government is going a little bit way overboard by giving 25,000 shillings for internship. And like you're saying, that is money that should have been maybe well put into the economy to be able to generate, to generate jobs, so to speak, for the same people. Because you see, a B is a lot of money.
Yes.
A bee is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
But in Kenya, we are used to bees. So now it's become like...
Something another thing that we're talking about, isn't it? All right, gentlemen, this morning now, we did know where the government stood on this issue of the successor for Bob Kalimo. It's now coming out clean that the government is saying, look, I think whoever you decide to work with, we will support you. But therefore this morning I want to ask the question on exactly what was happening in Parliament last week, where the lobbying around having to recognize M-Pesa as a single entity, as a bank, M-Pesa Bank, remove it from telco business. Do you think this is lobbying continuing and going on successfully, or what we read into this? Because they were really stand on this. Look, we have to get a local successor. It's not coming out. The lobby went on really good last week. They said, look, there is no need of you separating M-Pesa from Safaricom as a telco business, okay? And that was settled. Just a day later, we are going to keep off Safaricom's issues on whoever succeeds Safaricom. What do you think? Is this lobbying really going on good?
I think number one,
yes.
Safaricom is a private entity because the government sold its shares, floated its shares in the Nairobi Exchange,
yes,
and got 35 billion out of it. But even when the government still had a substantial stake in Safaricom,
yes,
they always kept off. And remember, Vodafone, the parent company, has preemptive rights to determine who the MD is.
Yes.
So the issue whether it's going to be a local or a non-local is neither here nor there.
Yes.
Because the owners of business and the shareholders would want the best person, the best qualified person to run Safaricom.
Yes.
And you know, if you are a shareholder, at the end of the day, you are interested in dividend.
Yes.
Coming to the issue of M-Pesa being separated as a telco, remember, M-Pesa keeps people's money, isn't it? Just like banks. And it is largely unregulated. It is not regulated by central bank. So it is a discussion that we should have. Because remember, if M-Pesa, and you have seen instances when the day M-Pesa goes down,
yes,
even for 10 minutes, the economy almost grinds to a halt. You cannot transact, people cannot do anything. Yes. So this is a question that we should have a very serious conversation around it, and see how we are going to deal with M-Pesa. Because if, say, for example, M-Pesa was to go down, you know, we are moving 1.5 trillion every quarter through M-Pesa. So you can imagine if M-Pesa was to go down,
yes,
what will happen?
Washington, what were we looking at here? Because we do know where the government comes from. We wanted a local to take over after Bob Kalimo. That was well known even before Bob Kalimo's tenure was supposed to expire in August 2020. That's fine. Now there's this turnaround. What was the government trying to get into by saying that we need a local now to take over?
You see, John, the thing is this.
Yes.
Safaricom is not just a company.
Yes.
This is like a national symbol. M-Pesa is not just a way of doing business.
Yes.
It's a global thing. You know, the fact, you see, M-Pesa is so recognized all over the world that it's used as an example when you talk about telco. We are the fintech industry.
Yes.
You know, now when the government is talking about getting a local, it's just politics. You see,
is it politics, Brendan?
Well, you see, to a certain extent, you see, the government has a stake in the success of Safaricom and M-Pesa along the way. Because you see, by having a local, we'll be talking about promoting our own local people to get to the level of managing a company like M-Pesa, which is a blue chip.
Yes.
I mean, Safaricom, which is a blue chip company.
Yes.
So, well, you can talk about looking at the issue of profitability, the issue of shareholders being, or rather, doing the best for shareholders. But does it mean that we cannot have a local CEO, so to speak, who can run this company profitably? That's what you should be asking. Yeah, because but campaigning for a local There's nothing wrong with that. Companies do that all the time, you know.
Yes.
You know, when you're campaigning for local, the money that the local earns gets back into the country form of taxes.
Yes.
What's wrong with that?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Ambrose, we don't know where it stands now. And I want to ask you this question in this regard. Because we did know that the next CEO for Safaricom, the only thing that was really coming, because we do know that the stake in Safaricom's telco business in the country is unthreatened, as we do know now. This is a company that has 62% market drive. I mean, nobody's going to take it tomorrow. This is a company that's already diversifying its services in a very good way that is not threatened right now. Do you think that the biggest challenge for the next CEO would be lobbying? Just to make sure, therefore, that you have a local, isn't it, who knows exactly the way local politics go, because we've seen some of these bills that are getting thrown at Safaricom, so that at the end of the day, the company's position within the economy is not threatened from the lobbying that we've seen some members of parliament actually push to this company. And is that why the government wants that position, therefore, or had been wanting that position to be taken by local?
I think the reason why the government wants a local at the helm of Safaricom is largely sentimental.
Is it sentimental?
Because remember Bob Collymore for almost a year was not running Safaricom actively. It was being run by locals.
Yes.
You know, the names that keep popping up, Sylvia Mlinge, Deborah Maloa, all these people, they are locals, as locals as they can be.
Yes.
So it is not an issue, because even right now it is still running, and it's still the same locals that are the ones that are running it.
Yes.
But like I said, since this is a private company, they will want the best qualified person. If it is a Kenyan, so be it. Personally, I've been rooting for a local, and like I said, I'm very biased towards Sylvia Mlinge.
Yes.
Because we don't have enough female CEOs.
Yes.
And that will be a major coup if a local, who is also a woman, is at the helm of Safaricom.
Yes.
But again, that is just sentiment. At the end of the day, if I was the owner of Safaricom, I would still want the best person.
Yes. Washington, the question is, reading from exactly the decision that was made about Safaricom and M-Pesa and not breaking it, and this U-turn now that we're seeing even from the ICT Cabinet Secretary John Misheri saying, look, we don't want to meddle anymore, despite our earlier stance. This U-turns that we're saying, and this soft approach now to questions around M-Pesa, what can we read into that?
Well, the government, you see, at the end of the day, the government doesn't want to be seen to meddle. You see, but the fact that they initially made their sentiments known, what they would like, the word is already out there. The government is in rooting for local.
Yes.
So even pulling back, the message is already across. There's already a local that the government would prefer local to run the company. Well, as for gender, what we say is may the best man win.
May the best man win.
As far as running Safaricom is concerned, because at the end of the day, like I told you, I'm more interested with the taxes that this person is going to get.
Yes.
I mean, the taxation of the salaries and the benefits and everything, they're still going to come back to the economy. If a foreigner was involved in running Safaricom, the issue of taxation is you cannot be taxed the same amount. The taxation usually goes according to the regimes.
Yes.
You can decide maybe wherever the person is from, they cannot be taxed, for example, twice. The home country is going to tax him, and Kenya is going to tax the same person this same amount of money. So I feel a local is going to get taxed 100%, and the taxation tax will come back to the economy.
All right. This morning, I just want us to cross over to a next topic. This morning, now raising eyebrows again on the financial discipline of the State Department. The National Youth Services has spent more than it had budgeted for development. Now, latest data from the National Treasury shows that the State Department of Public Service and Youth received and spent 1.5 billion against a revised budget of 1.39 billion during the 2018-2019 financial year. Now, before the start of just concluded budget cycle, Treasury had allocated 25.8 billion to the National Youth Service before lawmakers slashed it by a third. Now, ministries, departments and agencies did not spend the 40 billion of their development kitty, with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the Teachers Service Commission, failing to spend even a cent over the development money. Let's leave it there. Richie, you have the wrong graphic. Can we take it back to the NY story? Good. Now, this is something that we're actually getting into this morning. What happens, I want us to approach it from this direction, when you're given money and then you don't get to spend it? Ambrose, what does the law say? You ask for it, then you have no way to spend it. What does it say?
I think if you're given money and you don't spend it, then it goes back to the National Treasury.
Yes.
But we have to put this into perspective.
Yes.
Remember, there has been a directive from the presidency.
Yes.
That no more projects will be initiated until the previously launched projects have been done.
But Ambrose, even as you ask that,
yes,
when you make a budget, let's say now the Teacher Service Commission will ask for a budget and say that we're going to use this money in this way, A, B, C, D. But then at the end of the day, you don't get to spend the money that you asked for. Should you be questioned why you asked for this money?
I think on this one,
yes,
I am with the state agencies that have not spent the money, because number one, there has been, like I've said, the directive.
Yes.
Don't spend, because this is development money.
This is development money.
It's not for recurrent expenditure. Don't initiate any more projects until the projects that were initially initiated have been completed. Number two.
Yes.
Number two.
Yes.
We need to look at our procurement laws and processes, because they are excruciatingly very long and very painful. Because you float a tender, you invite bids, people bid, and then somebody who has a problem appeals. He can either appeal to the tender committee and he goes to the PPOA.
Yes.
The Public Procurement Oversight Authority.
Yes.
Which then gives a decision. Now this decision again is subject to appeal to the courts. So someone goes to the High Court, he has the options to go to the Court of Appeal, all the way to Supreme Court.
Yes.
This process, by the time it is finished, the financial year has ended. So that money, by law, has to go back. It must go back.
It must go back, isn't it? But just hold on to that. Washington, even as Ambrose really tells us, look, if you don't spend this money, it has to go back. But remember the announcement for not funding any other project. If any department or any state corporation that had other projects pending hasn't cleared these pending projects. But remember, Ambrose, this money that we're talking about is not actually coming from the 2019-2020. It's coming from 2018-2019, where we did ask for this money, therefore, to get into development projects. And then state corporations, state departments like TAC and the Boundaries Commission, now they send the money back just because they didn't spend it. But even worse now, we have NYS, a department that is already in trouble about spending their money and corruption issues, is spending more than the money that they were supposed to spend in terms of project. Shouldn't we start from there? Should somebody lose their job already as we speak this morning?
You know, when I got this issue of NYS is spending more than it's been allocated. How is it spending more than it's been allocated?
How is it spending more than it's been allocated? Where did this money come from?
That's the point.
Yes.
I mean, you spend some of these things are laughable. You allocated 1.39, but you've already spent 1.5. How do you spend 1.5? Where did the money come from?
Yes.
Well, those are maybe answers that can just be done maybe from the treasury. Maybe it's only treasury that can tell us how that story came about.
Yes, Ambrose, you want to come in? You want to jump in right now? Yes.
I think it is. If you look at the variation, it is not very huge, because there are always things that are called variations, which you can always get authority from the treasury. Say you wanted to put up this building.
Yes.
You projected it be 20 million, but because of some unforeseen circumstances, prices went up. Because you see, when you're bidding with prices today.
Yes.
Not then when now say you are doing fittings a year later, you find that the prices have slightly gone up.
Yes.
So you'll go back to treasury and say as much as we had budgeted for 20 million, it is now 22 million. Please authorize the extra 2 million so that we can cover this.
But Ambrose, that's the point. We didn't see this process taking place. And that's where now the questions are coming from. Like, good, I mean, you have a point, sir. You say, look, we were supposed to spend this much. And the variation is not really that big. But the question this morning is this. We gave you 1.39 to spend on this. But now later, when we look at exactly how much you've spent, you spent 1.5. But you didn't follow, therefore, the process of telling us, now we have these projections, but this is exactly what has happened so far, and we need this extra. So are you going through balancing of books illegally, therefore, to settle it? Or is it within law, therefore, that, well, if you have some money left from this project or this department, then you can get pushed to this other department? Are we not breaking the law there, Washington?
I think we are, because you see, there's one thing I know.
Yes.
When you're projecting, when you're budgeting,
yes,
there's always that provision for inflation, so to speak, or for contingency.
Yes.
For contingency. So when you get 1.39, everything should be factored in that 1.39. Right?
Yes.
But if it goes to, you see, we're talking about several hundred millions to 1.5.
Yes.
You know, that is not a small figure.
As you will look
throw
at
it around,
isn't it?
you know?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't throw around 100 million. But you see, like I was telling you earlier, this is a country where we are used to throw figures around like money falls from trees in this country or something, you know. But that is something that should be very, very serious, because look, when you talk about NYS, an institution that has been demonized in the past for misuse and for corruption and stuff like that, when you have 1.5 billion, that's what you spend already. The serious question need to be asked.
Yes.
Because
does it not get to you, Ambrose, from where you're seated? You know that you're a country that is in a developing economy, that is trying to push its economy to a mid-income level economy. We're not even there yet. Does it get to you, therefore, that a state department will be given money to get into development projects, and they'll take it back to the Treasury, National Treasury, and say, we didn't spend it? What question comes from you, Ambrose?
I think because I've interacted with a lot of these state departments.
Yes.
Like I've told you, the procurement process is one of their headaches.
Yes.
Because remember, there's also what is called public participation. It is a monster.
Yes.
Because no one has really defined what public participation is. Is it that if we discuss a project here, we
give it a green light, then it's
yes, is that public participation? Is it that who is the public? Because that has always been the problem.
Yes.
And you've even seen, even when we were talking about Huduma number, people went to court that there was no public participation. So everything has always been public participation and all these appeal processes. So most of the time, this money, but by the time you get through all these processes, the financial year is out. That's why I'm saying that, first of all, can we work on our procurement laws and process, make it shorter, that say for example, within 3 months. You see, the way they say the presidential petition has to be dispensed within 14 days.
Yes.
You have 7 days of appeal, you go and prosecute in 7 days, there's a judgment. That is done.
Okay.
So if we had that, then we can now start asking the tough questions.
Yes.
You had 3 months to do all your procurement. 12 months you've done nothing.
Yes.
What happened?
What happens, isn't it? Gentlemen, I would like us to talk about this issue a lot more, but Washington, I just want us to take us to the next issue. That is the man, Waititu. So now,
Stoititi.
Waititi. as they will call him. As they will call him. Good. So for the next 10 minutes, I just want us to talk about this man. Everybody knows that his arrest was forthcoming. Now, the DPP says, look, I've got evidence against you. Now, you should be in already. But now, just a couple months before this, we did see him get anticipatory bail from one judge, Kaimba, who later resigned. Was it supposed to take this long? Because we're talking about fighting corruption. If the DPP tells courts in the country, Washington, that look, I've followed the due process, okay?
Yeah.
I've gathered my evidence. I've gathered evidence that is enough to be tabled in front of a court any time, even today, because it was ready to take him to court back then. We're talking about fighting corruption when in the same judicial system that's supposed to support the fight against corruption, we see hurdles. Because this man has ridden on anticipatory bail for over a month. And if you listen to Haji, he said, we are trying to arrest these people, but therefore they don't step aside. Because Chapter 6 of the Constitution says, under the integrity clause, that you are asked to step aside. It leaves that to us. Like if Washington, you've been told that there's a case against you, then it's upon you to decide, I have to step aside. It's not within law. It is enshrined within law, but even the law says, look, it's upon you to step aside.
Sure.
Should Waititu therefore resign?
Well, the biggest problem with this country, just like you said, is corruption.
Yes.
And corruption is everywhere.
Yes.
It's with the governors, it's with the policemen, it's with the judiciary, it's with the judges. You see, this anticipatory bail that Waititu was issued on, this is just a way of abetting corruption, so to speak. Because you see, this man, well, he's got to get his day in court. He's got to be fair. He goes to court and he has charges of what he's been accused of. But that anticipatory bail defeats to a certain extent the process of justice, even for the community. Because we are not talking about small monies. These are people who've been accused of billions, stealing billions. Most governors, I think over 90% of the governors, as we speak right now, they've been accused of billions. Having stolen billions, they stashed them abroad. Remember another governor the other day who was being accused of having taken money all over the world.
Yes.
You know, and apparently all of them, they use their family members to hide that money.
Which is also another case for this man,
Which is
because
the
the
same
wife
thing.
and the daughter are all in to prop them now just because of it.
You see, that's the point. And these guys, maybe they're also not very smart. Let me not talk about smartness and about stealing money. But you see, you're not very smart when you when you have a company in your wife's name, then you're giving it tenders. And so I don't think I'd be very smart. Let's not get there. Let's not get how you're supposed to be smart and steal. Eh? But you see, at the end of the day, it's very, very clear in the Constitution that you're supposed to step aside if an issue like this happens. I mean, in the developed countries, they step aside or they resign for even smaller issues than this.
Yes.
You know, but this is Kenya. No, Kenya, you don't just resign unless you're kicked out.
You say you resign,
You know?
I'd rather die than resign. Isn't it? That's a phrase that every Kenyan is now
That's
used
right.
to. Ambrose, this guy, Haji, he says, look, the fight is on. You've been crying every day that we are not going for the big guys in this country. What we've seen in a couple months now is that this man is not afraid to actually go where the money is. Do you think he's taking the right steps? And what do you think, for you from where you sit, Ambrose, what do you think is the biggest hindrance to this man becoming successful in this country in terms of fighting corruption? Because as things look, he's got support from the president. We did see exactly what the president did the other day. He made a substantive reaction to the charges against Rotich. And now as we stand again, we don't expect Rotich to come back to office, despite the way the case goes. So what do you think is the biggest hindrance therefore for this man becoming, that's DPP Haji, becoming successful in fighting corruption in this country?
I think right now the DPP has the goodwill
Yes.
and the political support from the highest office in,
Yes.
in the land. And as the citizens of Kenya, we are
Yes.
fully behind him. But remember, every case has to follow the due process, just
Go
the
to-
way you've said.
Yeah, go to court.
Because we've seen in the past, there are people who have gone to court, they have been taken, the cases have been thrown out either on illegalities, on technicalities.
On technicalities.
Or there has been no sufficient evidence.
Yes.
So we should afford him time to collect as much evidence as possible.
Yes.
And to me, as a financial person, I've always said following the money is very easy because the money came from an account. It was transferred to another account.
Yes.
You just follow the money trail. If it was withdrawn, then you can say, Ambrose withdrew this money.
Yes.
And you come and tell me this money, you withdrew it. Where is it? And number two, why did it come to your account?
Yes.
So on that front, I think we are going to win this war. But also remember that the accused, they are innocent till proven guilty.
Yes.
So even in terms of bail and all that, it is within their legal rights to get that.
Yes.
On the issues of someone stepping aside, Justice Mumbi Ngaru has already pronounced herself on this. And it is very clear right now that as a governor, if you have charges against you,
then please step
you
aside.
step aside.
Yes.
Now it is not a request. It is not upon him. Now he steps aside and the deputy takes over.
Yes.
But remember, the biggest the biggest interest to all this is politics. Because every time someone is arrested for stealing money,
yes,
or for actually it is theft. This is not corruption.
Yes.
For stealing our money, someone somewhere in a certain corner stands up and says that our people, our community, our tribe, our region is being targeted.
Yes.
So that is the biggest interest. And for me, I would appeal to the political class to tone down on their rhetoric. Because remember when Rotich was arrested, because of that hit, the shilling suffered. When the shilling suffered, our debt actually increased.
You actually believe that despite the Central Bank of Kenya governor saying, I don't think it was because of that.
Our debt actually increased by 57 billion by just that single act.
Yes.
So the political class should tone down. They should, if there's an issue, then it should be prosecuted in court.
Yes.
Not in the court of public opinion.
Okay, Washington, just one more. We are actually running out. Do you believe, because of going for CS Rotich and Waititu and Kidero, that the big fish are getting scared?
Yeah, they should be scared.
They should be scared.
Because at the end of the day, the kind of money that is being moved around by these
Yes.
guys, man, it's too much for this economy. How do you account for the fact that a third of a GDP, a third of a budget, the budget of this country is actually being stolen? That's too much money, man. And that's too much money to actually keep quiet about it.
Yes.
You know? And this issue of corruption should be tackled seriously. And, well, it's good the president is talking about it and giving the DPP to Haji to go for these guys. But we should see serious arrests and we should see conclusion of these cases. Because actually most people, they're very, very skeptical about what is happening. They think this is just showbiz. You arrest these guys, then after some time, everything is forgotten and life goes on. You know, we've been treated to these movies, to this drama for quite some time. Guys get arrested. They even step aside. They even don't come back to the office. But how many actually go to jail because of that?
And that's the big question. All right, Ambrose, Washington, thank you very much for joining us this morning. It's been lovely, as always. All right, that's exactly what you're waking up to this morning. A lot of news that are supposed to follow this. We shall be keeping a tabs on some of these stories, and any development, you shall be sure it should be coming from Metropole Television. And if not, Business app. We take a short break. Once we come back, we talk health. Interesting topics to follow.
Mwema. George Bodo.
Markets Today has an extensive network of experts as well as decision makers in the economy.
We are ourselves a team of experts, but we will be embodying additional expert opinion shapers, business leaders.
Partner with us daily, morning and evening, so that we can tell you what to look ahead and what to be focusing on for the day.
We want to deliver this, and we will deliver this in a very precise, simple and concise manner.
Opening and closing bell at Metropole's Markets Today.
Entrepreneurs Lounge is a show that highlights success stories of young entrepreneurs under the age of 40. Entrepreneurs Lounge with me, Ingrid Nantege, Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
From street to street. Tunaangazia biashara kadha wa kadha ambazo kwa na as little as 5,000 shillings unaweza anzisha biashara yako na igrow. And from these businesses, you can get an idea or two on how to boost your business. Haya basi, ishakuwa kipindi ni The Hustle na mi ni Tabitha Muthoni ndani ya Metropole TV.
Why is it important to start your business defeat? Because business is demanding. Your body needs to be ready. Successful business persons always seek to help before the money. So join me, Douglas Karanja, on Shape Up. Every day at 6 a.m. on Metropole TV.
Businessmen are doers. Businessmen, they're also thinkers. Businessmen are innovators. How did you come up with this idea? How did you decide to give back to it? And where is the need? Where's the gap?
It was a natural gravitation.
So the doers, the thinkers, and the innovators all catch up on the Entrepreneurs Lounge with me, Ingrid Nantege, every Monday at 7:30 p.m. only on Metropole TV.
It's agriculture that supplies food for the masses as well as raw material for agro-based industries. But what does it really take to grow the crops or rear those animals? And how do you ensure produce becomes profit? Journey with me, Fred Makori, on my farm visits.
And this is the Farm Journal.
And my colleague Victoria Amunga,
Kwa kilo nausaga 200.
as she brings to you the market opportunities. And together, we take you through the journey of farming for profit.
Mwema. George Bodo.
Markets Today has an extensive network of experts as well as decision makers in the economy.
We are ourselves a team of experts, but we will be embodying additional expert opinion shapers, business leaders.
Partner with us daily, morning and evening, so that we can tell you what to look ahead and what to be focusing on for the day.
We want to deliver this, and we will deliver this in a very precise, simple and concise manner.
Opening and closing bell at Metropole's Markets Today.
Entrepreneurs Lounge is a show that highlights success stories of young entrepreneurs under the age of 40. Entrepreneurs Lounge with me, Ingrid Nantege, Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
From street to street. Tunaangazia biashara kadha wa kadha ambazo ukiwa na as little as 5,000 shillings unaweza anzisha biashara yako na igrow. And from these businesses, you can get an idea or two on how to boost your business. Haya basi, ishakuwa kipindi ni The Hustle na mi ni Tabitha Muthoni ndani ya Metropole TV.
Why is it important to start your business defeat? Because business is demanding. Your body needs to be ready. Successful business persons always seek to help us before the money. So join me, Douglas Karanja, on Shape Up. Every day at 6 a.m. on Metropole TV.
Welcome back to Business AM. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. I keep on saying this. The last part of Business AM is usually the most interesting. Despite you knowing and getting scared about what's happening in the economy, and for Kiambu County residents, guess what? You have no governor as it stands. It's now in law that once you're indicted with any charges, you have to step aside. We are following the proceedings of exactly what is happening in Kiambu County and this case for Ferdinand Waititu and C.S. Rotich, and we shall be giving you updates on that if need be. This morning though, what are we talking about? We're talking health. We do understand that you really need your peace of mind. You need to be healthy in words for you to portray these at words. And business can be stressful sometimes. You have to manage losses, you have to manage numbers, you have to manage time. And for those who know, at Metropole Television, we are into business and the well-being of business. So this morning, we are not talking health in the sense of its contribution to the economy. No, we are talking health in the sense of you being healthy. And we're talking about stress and managing that stress. You should be thankful because this morning I am joined by Dr. Nyaga Silas and Dr. Naitore from Riverdale Medical Center. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having
me. Thank you. Let's first define this very interesting topic called corporate burnout. Dr. Naitore, I want you to pick it from there before we throw it to Nyaga. Yes.
Burnout is exhaustion. So this is exhaustion in the corporate area, in the corporate market, in the workplace. So that's what I would define as corporate burnout. Simplified, it's exhaustion. You get to the point where you are completely done.
Yes.
Can't move, can't function the way you're meant to function.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to come back to you. So, Dr. Nyaga, I just want to know, well, it is to the point that you can move. Somebody will tell you probably that I need to understand it deeper. How do you know that you can't move anymore? How do you identify that you have this corporate stress that we're talking about?
So basically, the main thing that happens is that you get to a point, there's a point where you're in a denial phase, where you're like in an okay zone, okay, everything is working well.
Yes.
And you don't share it with people. Then there's a place where you begin getting exhausted, but you say you have to keep on. Then you get to the danger zone now where you are completely unable to work, okay? And it really shows in the productivity of your work. So how you can really see that is that you find that people become really disinterested in their work, okay? The motivation goes away, and you find that the doubt, they begin having self-doubt in, was I supposed to be in this work?
Yes.
Or can I change another job?
Yes.
So they keep on, they want to move to another job, they keep on wanting to move to another job because now they're doubting what they really, where they are in terms of their workplace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Naitore, I just want to talk about this in this sense. Are we now, therefore, talking about mental health, isn't it? Because when you look at stress, therefore, it is just the mental health of the people that work within this corporate. And you having looked at some of these cases, are people really aware that once I feel like this, I can move on, I feel like I'm stuck? That's energy-wise, emotion-wise. Are they able to recognize that therefore they now need help? And what sort of help is open now, especially from your side, of diagnosing this person and starting to make them recognize that this is actually corporate stress?
It starts with self-awareness. It starts with knowing your limits.
Yes.
And from many times, even just from talking with friends, it's you hear it, but it hasn't clicked yet that this is not okay.
Yes.
And so because
let's just come. You hear it. I know somebody will be listening to you right now and saying, well, what is this that you hear? And then why hasn't it clicked? Let's break it down further.
Okay.
So for someone who's listening to you right now with maybe I'm also in that line.
Yeah.
But I could be. Anyway, what are these things that you hear therefore but haven't clicked when you talk to them?
So one of the things that I would ask is, when was the last time you did something that you enjoyed? That you intentionally said, you know what, I love taking walks. I'm just going to take a walk just because I can. When was the last time you did something you enjoyed? But if your life is a cycle, you wake up, you go to work, you go back home, you sleep. It's somewhere in there you'll eat or not eat.
Yes.
Because some deal with stress differently.
Yes.
And so then if it's just a cycle and you cannot remember the last time you just sat and rested, and got energized from resting, or then that's now what for me I say I can hear it from what people say, from when you're able to say like what you're talking about. Your life is just work, sleep, going home. Nothing in there is anything that would be enjoyable and profitable and beneficial. Yes, because also another thing that people tend to do is, I went and hung out with my friends and we just drank and got silly. And so that tends to be on the negative side, because then you're trying to cope. So it's not something that you don't wake up the next morning feeling energized. You wake up the next morning with a hangover.
I see now.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Salas, I want to take you back therefore to, I know you were mentioning steps of this corporate stress. Would you just go highlight back before I come back to Dr. Naitore, and therefore we start diagnosing these steps and knowing, okay, now when you hear this, exactly what it is that you're supposed to do, and when it gets to the worst level, therefore where and what are you supposed to do? Okay, let's first start with how these steps of recognizing this corporate stress, are there identified steps that someone can listen to right now and say, well, I'm in step 1, I'm headed to step 4 or 5 if they're there?
So I'll just put it into 3 steps.
Yes.
Just to simplify it. So the first, you just begin feeling exhaustion. And exhaustion comes with emotional depravement. And the exhaustion, you can just look at exhaustion either physically, emotionally, and also spiritually.
Yes.
Okay. You just become exhausted completely. So you wake up that morning and you're feeling your muscles are really tired. Everything is just so tired in terms of the physical aspect.
Yes, yes.
And then there's the emotional way out. There's maybe the interactions with your co-workers, so you begin feeling the total emotional way out. Okay. And then there's the spiritual aspect. So apart from the exhaustion, then you get to the cynicism aspect. Cynicism, CYNISM. So meaning that now, what I was trying to explain earlier, is that the patient, the person begins experiencing the aspect that it's like. Sorry, the cynicism, then they get to the doubt aspect. So the cynicism is where they're really not comfortable in the workplace.
Yes.
Okay. Then there's the doubt place. Now they begin doubting the purpose that they were, why they were brought to the workplace, or what they are expected to accomplish in the workplace.
Yes.
So those three steps, like when you just begin looking at them, because exhaustion comes first. Okay, then the cynicism, then the doubt aspect.
Yes.
So later on, that's the way you can break them again into phases. Those are like the indicators.
Yes.
Then you can break them into phases where you have now, where the phase, where I was trying to say about the okay zone, being in an okay zone.
Yes.
Then you get to a burnout zone. Then finally you get to the danger zone. Okay.
Yes.
So in the danger zone is like you can't completely work. Okay, so in the burnout, you're actually just working with minimal energy at that moment. You're saying, I'm going to be okay, I'm going to be okay. And maybe in a setup where you have to make ends meet, so you have to be there. Okay, so the people in the corporate world, they know they need this job, so they need to work. Yeah.
All right, Dr. Ntore, I'm just going to approach this from a very pragmatic sense into what major companies like the multinationals that we know that operate within Kenya are doing right now. Just the other day, we were reading headlines of Coca-Cola closing their Upper Hill branch and wanting to sell it, and then moving deeper into the state. And quote, they were saying, we want to make our employees feel like they're not in a work environment where you have to come in and then go to a very industrialized area, and then after that stick to the rules and get out, in that sense that they want to bring them close to homes so they don't feel the stress of having to, quote, fit in to this work environment, like let go of the work environment. Therefore, listening to Dr. Silas, therefore, what are the best ways, therefore, when you start feeling these stages, like, oh, I feel exhausted today, okay? How do you start mitigating this before you get to the danger zone where you're like, I'm not going to that work?
It will be baby steps.
Baby steps,
yes, because by the time you're getting to that point, or even just looking back at your life for 1 year, it's been a cycle. It's been you've had habits.
Yes.
And so then what you do is just start incorporating little things in your day-to-day. So assuming you do enjoy walking, that's some form of exercise. And but where you work, you'll always have to either take a matatu or drive. So there's some form of transport, vehicle transport that's required. So then it could be something that in the evening you get off at a stage earlier, and just take those 5 extra minutes walking home and use that to calm down. Or it could be that for those who believe in praying, it could be that you just wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is pray instead of pick up your phone to check your emails. It could be that you maybe somebody else enjoys singing, so then why not just sing? And it could be in your bathroom. It could be you just join, a church or whatever else do something. Start making steps, and then also start talking. Start bringing in people and letting them know, hey, I'm starting to feel heavy. I'm starting to feel low. I'm not enjoying what I do anymore. I don't remember the last time I smiled, sincerely smiled. I don't remember the last time I genuinely just sat down and enjoyed sitting down and not felt like I was not doing anything. I was being lazy, because that also mentality, attitude change needs to come into.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Nyaga, do you find, because I know you're now receiving, and is it okay for me to call patients therefore?
Yes. Patients and clients.
Do you believe that in Kenya, when you tell your corporate that I am actually sick, in this sense, no malaria, not a cold, not anything that I'm going to receive an injection over, do you think we've accepted the fact that yes, we need to define the stressed people in our corporates as sick people? Have we gotten there where it's okay for me to take leave because, guys, I'm stressed? Before I come to the question, what has it been so far? When you talk to them, what has been lacking? And I want us to lay this conversation basing it on Nairobi itself.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly the way Nairobi operates. It is move from point A, point B, it's fast-paced. Even when you're going to rest, even before you get to rest, there's already stress in between point A and B.
Yes.
People sleep 4 hours in Nairobi just because of traffic jams.
Yeah.
People wake up very early in the morning just because you want to beat that traffic before you get into the CBD. People never get to see their kids because you're waking up in the morning when they're sleeping. By the time you're coming back, they are already asleep. Isn't it? So when you look at these factors, therefore, do you think that our environment, especially in Nairobi, when you look at the corporates that exist within Nairobi, would you blame it solely on our operating environment that has led to this sickness? Especially when they're diagnosing a patient, you'll say, you are stressed because of A, B, C, D. But therefore, when you look at the general operating environment in Nairobi, would you say it's a major causal factor when it comes to stress, corporate stress?
So I think you've put out 2 questions. There's one you've said, can stress be equated to sickness? And then there's the aspect about the environment.
Yes.
The town-based environment. So we can't really say stress is equated to sickness, okay? Because when you talk about sickness or disease is a process, okay?
Yes.
And stress is, you're talking about, you have either internal factors or external factors. And so in the aspect that if you remove maybe the external factors, this individual is able to cope. Okay? And maybe if you remove the internal factors, this individual is able to cope. So stress can be a contributing factor to lead someone to a particular illness, okay, as an additional but not a very strong, significant in terms of studies that you say, okay, now if I have stress, then I have this particular condition.
Yes.
Are you getting? That if I say you're stressed with this job, then you have a particular condition. Okay.
Yes.
But it can create an environment in your body where you can be able to get to a particular certain sort of disease.
Yes.
Then the aspect is that when a patient comes and they say they are feeling stressed from work and everything, sometimes they're also in the psychiatric arena, you have the somatoform disorders where some patients do not have, you investigate them completely, they really don't have any medical basis as to what they are feeling. So someone comes and says, I have a pain here, I have a pain everywhere, and everywhere, and if you look at it in the medical arena, they can't really say that this is a particular illness,
yes,
or this is not. Okay, so some patients begin presenting that way, in which we call now the somatoform disorders, and there are so many, if you broken down. So that's the first, okay? That's the first question. The second question that you've asked is in terms of the environment. So if you look at the environment, yes, you in the town-based environment, and yes, everyone is a lot of pacing and everything, and then there's also the work environment, okay? So for me, you look at what can you change and what can you not change.
Yes.
Okay? I cannot change Nairobi, okay, as an individual,
yes,
okay? Because you have to look at that. I cannot change Nairobi. I cannot begin coming and just changing everything, how it runs and everything. But how can I cope now in the work environment, okay? So you need to also look at the right coping mechanisms in the working environment. Yes, the manager can bring the aspect that he can get into a role where he creates a good environment for the workers to feel appreciated,
yes,
maybe through performance appraisal, a good working environment where there is able to a communication either horizontally or vertically, a good communication aspect that can work, okay? But then also you as an individual, you need to come to your stand and say, what can I do as an individual to cope with this work environment?
Yes.
Okay, so different coping mechanism. Unfortunately, now people go to so many other diverse coping mechanisms now where they get into substance abuse, but it is just a temporary relief,
Yes.
and it actually now pulls them much deeper into the stress situation, and it gets even more worse and worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Naitore, when you, and I know you've spoken to patients now,
Yeah.
right? So it's okay now for me to call them patients. When you've spoken to patients, therefore, of corporate stress, would you say that we, as a corporate world now, have started to therefore recognize that we need to talk to doctors like you on exactly it is that we're feeling, therefore, to get help and to be aware that you need to do A, B, C, D when you're in such a stressful situation? Are we accepting therefore? Because one of the major areas that mental health care is lacking in Kenya is just the whole aspect of we as Africans don't recognize stress, depression as a form of illness. In fact, for a long time now, it's been viewed as a weakness.
Yes.
Where you find that I can go to a doctor right now and start telling them that I'm stressed. Because, I mean, how is it supposed to happen? Are we moving towards that area where we're saying, well, corporates and the people working in the corporate sector in Kenya, yes, they're recognizing and they're coming to us for help.
From my own experience,
yes,
just having worked in the corporate sector and where I am now,
yes,
there is a definite it's slow, but there is a definite shift in terms of people recognizing that, hey, I can. It's okay to go and talk to somebody.
Yes,
it's not where other the other America is,
yes,
but there is a move. There is a small change where people recognize that, okay, yeah, I'm not okay, and this is not okay, and I can go and talk to someone.
And so when you look at the people, when you look at the demographics of the people that you've actually spoken to, do you find that the millennials now find themselves in the corporate sector would come to you more often as opposed to the people who are not millennials, therefore? Because now this stress could be viewed as an issue that millennials will say, yes, I'm stressed and I'm not coming to work just because of stress.
Yeah, there's a definite age group.
Yes.
That is more open and to talking about stuff.
Yes.
To talk about these things.
Yes.
And there's an age group that hasn't quite gotten there yet.
Yes.
And a lot of it is just attitude change, mindset changing, in terms of, okay, stress is dangerous. There's a positive stress that actually motivates you and allows, and like athletes, they are under so much stress, they put so much strain on their bodies, because that's what stress is. It's a strain, but prolonged strain is not okay.
Yes.
So prolonged adrenaline rush, continuous, that you're constantly running, we're not made to do that.
Yes.
We're made to actually stop and rest and pace ourselves and enjoy, the breeze and all those things that we don't get to do because we're running after the shilling, the next shilling, the next 1,000 shillings you can get there. The next, I can't be seen to sit down.
Yes.
So when it comes to the point where we change our mindsets, that it is okay to sit, you're not being lazy, then there will be major differences as well. Then it will be, I'll be more open in saying, you know what, I am stressed, and going to your boss, going to your supervisor and saying, may I take tomorrow off because I just need a break. And it's not that I don't need a doctor's note, that I genuinely just need a break.
Just a slight,
just 1 day break.
And that's somebody who's self-aware.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And recognizes that stress is a condition that would affect my output here at work.
It affects everything, not just, it affects everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, Dr. Nyaga, people will talk about this and then they will like, maybe sometimes I get stressed, sometimes I'm good, sometimes it affects me, sometimes it doesn't. It's neither here nor there. What are the worst cases you've seen of people, therefore, who've just let it go without managing it, and then I'm talking about the danger zone. What are the worst cases, therefore, you've seen of corporate guys in the danger zone?
So there's normally it's a phrase that says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So when you think about it, starts always with a thought process. And now when it gets now to that danger zone aspect, the aspect is that you get led towards the like I mentioned, depression.
Yes.
Most of the people keep on saying, I'm depressed. But actually, when you come to the clinical state, depression is much more heavy than the way someone may just experience a a particular sadness, maybe a particular sort of small frustration, but depression takes almost a month to actually really develop to the, when you say someone is really in a state of major depression.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so it keeps on pushing people to that direction most of the times. It mainly pushes people towards the psychological and the psychiatric manifestations. Not really, okay, you know, when you mention psychiatric, people just think of going crazy and stuff like that, but not really necessarily. So so you can have this minor sort of depression, and you can also have the major type of depression. So that's where people can be pushed, or towards maybe some more of anxiety, okay? But in terms of the other illnesses take time before they really develop and really correlating to stress as a core issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's be clear, Dr. Naitore. What responsibility, therefore? Because you've said that the response is not there, but it's a bit slow. Is that you realize that for a long time, therefore, that as a country, and this is in public domain, is that our mental health has been neglected for some time. And it's now that we're realizing, so there are a lot of issues under mental health. There are a lot of depressed youth out here, that we have people go to work, but you talk to them, they're really stressed to the point that the outputs are getting affected. Since you were looking at corporate stress, therefore, and burnout, what responsibility should the corporates, therefore, play to make sure that some of these cases we're talking about, therefore, are, number one, getting looked into, and number two, getting properly managed? What is this responsibility that they should play?
Those with businesses, those with companies, those in top leadership, those in top management positions, it would start with them realizing that it is important to rest, and then incorporating that into the culture of the organization. And when that becomes part and parcel, when I feel okay to say, hey, I need a break, then, and my boss supports that and knows my work output and knows that, I'm not just faking it, but I'm actually genuinely, I need a break. Then my trust and my loyalty to that organization increases. My productivity will increase because I'll come back energized. And so when organizations start getting to know their employees, genuinely knowing their employees, making it a point to sit to find ways to get to figure out, hey, Naitore, you've been working, you haven't taken leave the whole year. This is November now, the whole year you haven't taken leave. What's going on? How's your family doing? How are you doing? And somebody just takes that interest. So when organizations start putting that in place in one way or the other, then that starts, that's one of the ways to enhance your employees, enhance loyalty, enhance productivity, bring about a difference in culture within that organization. And you go much further. When you're well rested, you think better. When you're well rested, you communicate better. When you're well rested, it's less likely that you will snap at somebody. So even conflict within amongst teammates in the office place will reduce. In terms of people feeling like they need to fake genuine, I'm in the hospital, so they can get a break, will also decrease. Those drastic excuses that we go to, where that will also start to decrease. Honesty will increase, integrity will increase. So it's very important. And one of the things that we even at Riverdale are into is just quality healthcare and family, and recognizing that when I am okay, then my family will also, because I'm okay, I will be able to be there for my family and move on that.
All right, now, this is the last thing that we're going to say. Since Riverdale now, you guys seem like you've recognized this aspect of corporate stress. If they want to talk to you, how can they get you? Where are you based? And anything that you can use, therefore, to get these guys to come to you and talk to you. Yes.
So Riverdale, we're opposite Nakumat Lavington. And also she'll add on in terms of on the locations. And so in terms of getting the core values that we really emphasize in Riverdale is that there's compassion, integrity. Those are the main core values that we try to encompass in Riverdale, so that and try to create a family sort of setup for our clients when they come, so that they can feel welcomed and they can be able to get that quality time with the doctor. And because sometimes when the patient comes, they, as you're saying, they can, apart from the particular illness that could have brought them, they also have different stresses that are in life. So we have our counseling area that someone can also get in consultation with, so that they are viewed in a holistic type of manner.
Yes. Dr. Naitore, 10 seconds as we clear.
We are based at Nasha Drive in Lavington, and we have OBGYN specialists, we have pediatricians, we have dentists, we have all form of healthcare. So outpatient services is what we offer. So, and we open 7 to 7, Monday to Friday, and then we also open Saturdays and Sundays as well.
Welcome.
Yeah,
all right.
So everybody's welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You might find me there as one of your first patients looking for Dr. Naitore.
Karibu sana.
Anyway, this morning we've based our conversation on exactly what corporate burnout is. I was joined by Riverdale medical experts, that Dr. Nyaga Silas and Dr. Naitore really talked us into exactly what you need to understand when it comes to your working environment and how that impacts your daily output. And it's coming out that it's not just daily output, it's exactly you as a human being. Good. We are live on YouTube. One of these conversations are going there immediately, so you can go back and get these conversations. Talk to us at Metropole TVKE, #BusinessAM. You can get me at @Charles_Kiage. My name is Simba, Elijah Charles Kiage. I'll meet you at 1 p.m. for Metropole Business News at 1. Good morning.
My name is Biola Alabi. I'm the CEO of Biola Alabi Media, a media company in Nigeria. And for all your factual business news, watch Metropole TV.
The way things are going today, there is no doubt that Uganda, for example, will be a major supplier of agricultural commodities. How can we work together to value add and to open up our markets to them? Whereas in turn, we in Kenya are also focusing on other industries where Uganda provides a perfect market. If we're talking about now trying to move through to the ICT world, products that can be made in Kenya that can have access to Ugandan markets, and therefore creating a win-win situation, because every country has its respective strengths. How do we come together as COMESA, as Africa, to take advantage of the strengths that we each have, and open markets in the rest of the continent for those products, therefore, and thereby increasing employment, not just in Uganda, but also in Kenya, as an example. So to me, it's how we share by taking advantage of our respective strengths and our God-given mineral resource, because what we're doing right now is exporting those resources to Asia, to Europe, to America, and then re-importing those products into our markets, thereby denying our young people jobs. We want to create opportunities for our young people by creating those jobs here, by manufacturing here, first and foremost taking advantage of our own markets and ultimately international markets, and we cannot do that without the science.